Hello again, Sima. This is a further tutorial in the series of educating Sima to be able to screen record material that we want to make use of, either for the benefit of AFPO Spain members or simply to use within another tutorial video that we're compiling. What this small segment is about is to do with the files that Camtasia saves or the files that it exports, and in particular the size of those files and how consequently you are able to move them around. In particular, WeTransfer, the free version, allows you to move files of up to 2 GB. And generally, when you create a tutorial of any kind, or a screen recording even of any kind, you are going to end up with a project file, which is relatively small, and that is as a consequence of saving the file, or you will export the file as an MP4 video. And so you have those choices. Let's take a look at it in some detail. So here we are looking at the Camtasia screen when you have it open, and you can see at the bottom that something has been produced which has a audio file at track 2 and a video file at track 1. Looking more closely, you can see that this particular piece of video that has been created is 4 minutes and 34 seconds long. So that's a pretty small file. As I've said, there are now 2 options. There in the list underneath the heading of file, you can see that you can save it or save as. Obviously, for the first time, you would probably need to save it as and give it a title, which is very important and we deal with elsewhere. Once you've saved it once, and so long as you don't want to change the title, perhaps make a version 2 or a version 3, then you just simply save and it overwrites what you saved before. That, however, does no more than save the material, and there is a very important aspect of this, which is to do with if you are going to move Camtasia files that you have worked on, perhaps adding photographs, perhaps adding video clips, then it is crucially important that you keep all of that material in a folder and that you move the whole folder. Because if you only move the project file, which is what results when you save it, and you don't have the original material with it, it may be that when you reload it, it won't all be there. Now, sometimes Camtasia absorbs the material you put into it. Sometimes when you import material, Camtasia absorbs and remembers it, and it doesn't need access to that material in order that you can carry on working on that tutorial or on that video. But at other times, it won't attempt to import it. It will simply look for it and expect to find it in the same folder as the project file. Now, we'll come back to that again, but this is just a heads up at this stage. And so you can choose to save or save as the file. And when you do that, this is what you'll find in the directory. There you see the blue highlighted file, Educating Sima, what we shall be doing, .cmproj. Now that's Camtasia project. So that's the project file. That's not the video itself. If on the other hand you export the video, then what you will find on your drive, hopefully in the folder that you have allocated for this purpose, is what you see there, the blue line, Educating Sima, what we shall be doing, MP3. And you note there's an 03 there. That means that that's probably the 3rd version that's been created. What tends to happen, particularly with small videos, is that you do some work and then you save it in its correct folder along with the material that you use to import and make it, and then you export a video to see how it looks. And that would be number 1. And if you don't like it, or if you have more to do, then you do some more work and you export again, but you call it Educating Sima 03. What shall we be doing, MP3? And so on. Now we need to look at those again more closely. There is the cmproj, Camtasia project file. And you can see that it's a 5.3 megabyte size. Now this was only a 4-minute video. So if it had been a 50-minute video, it would be 53 megabyte size. But it's only 5.3, so it's tiny. But when we look at the MP4, Educating Sima 03, what should we be doing, MP4, that is 33.5 megabytes for that same 4 minutes. You can see that the video file is significantly larger than the project file. And what you're probably going to want to do is to move or copy, probably move, maybe copy, the whole folder of all of the material and the project file and the video that you've exported. You might delete the old versions and just leave the last version, but you're going to want to export that folder either to a small disk or using WeTransfer to somewhere else, possibly to Harbour House, possibly to me. And you have to be careful that you don't exceed the 2 gigabyte size that WeTransfer allows. And so that is the entire purpose of this small tutorial, to give you a heads up on 1 or 2 things and to make it clear to you what size of video you can create, what size of project you can create and still be able to use WeTransfer. And so what I suspect that you'll find yourself doing is creating videos in sections until you have it all produced so that you can move those sections easily. And then at the end, join the sections together to create maybe a 1-hour video or a 2-hour video, which you can't possibly move on WeTransfer, but you can move using your SD and also the likes of Google Drive and other methods that we'll talk about in future tutorials. Good day to you.